I'm not sure which screen I'm sharing. Which screen are you guys saying? Are you guys saying the Jira board?
Yes, the Jira board.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Exactly. All right. So the first thing I want to cover is if you are new to the project, just to give you an overview of what you need to do. In your account, when you log in, you will see all the projects you are supposed to complete. This project are listed here. This project are also organized in the order you should complete them. So you should start at the first one and go through each one and just work your way through all the projects. The projects are also meant to build your knowledge as you go. So whatever concept you learn from the previous project will apply in the next project. And as we go through all the projects, we are just adding extra things to it to develop your knowledge in the best way we can, right? And the project is also supposed to follow the learning phase that I presented to you guys earlier before you start the project, that when you are trying to build your skills in AWS and you are trying to pretty much get the best out of your learning experience, you should break your learning phase down into 3 phases. In the first phase, that's where you complete the Cloud Practitioner Solutions Architect course, the course on Git, Linux, to familiarize yourself with these tools so that when you start doing the hands-on projects, it makes sense what you are doing. So in the first phase, that's where you complete just courses to gain knowledge on AWS services and Linux and Git. Once you have done that, in the second phase of learning, that is when you do hands-on projects. So the first project in your account is pretty much covering the first phase, pointing you to the course to take on AWS, Linux, and Git. Once you finish that, the rest of the projects in your account are hands-on projects. And these are projects that cover the second phase and the third phase of your learning journey. So the next project you see here, these are hands-on projects that covers how to deploy a static website and a dynamic website on AWS using the management console. So there are 4 projects here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 projects here that covers how to deploy an application on AWS. Some of the projects are dynamic, some of the projects are static. So it also covers Docker too and ECS. Then once you are done with the second phase, which is when you deploy the projects in the management console, in the third phase, this is where we use some automated tools to deploy our project. That is in the projects where we are using tools like Terraform, CI/CD, Ansible. So Ansible, we have Ansible here, Ansible and Python, right? So basically in your account, projects that have Terraform, Ansible, where you see we are using third-party tools and we are writing scripts to automate something, that is the third phase of your learning journey. You should not start any project on Terraform if you haven't done the project in Management Console 100%. Because I always say, in order for you to know what type of scripts to write in Terraform, you must understand what you are trying to create. And the best way to understand that is to first create it using the Management Console. So that is it for the projects in your account. All you have to do is just follow them from top to bottom. An additional thing we are doing now to test your knowledge is for each of these projects in your account, when you start, for example, let's say you start with the first project, which is to deploy this static website on AWS. Once you have finished this project in your account, there is a corresponding assignment for this project, and you will find that assignment in the Slack channel. So the assignment is supposed to test your knowledge, and the assignment is supposed to mimic what your day-to-day may be like as a cloud engineer. So this project is a starting point to understand how to deploy it. The assignment is to test your knowledge. So for the assignment, you will be deploying it 100%. There are certainly people in the class and myself that you can rely on if you are having any issue. And this is similar to exactly what it will be like at work. Let's say at work, you are deploying an application, you run into an issue. You can send the error code to your coworker and ask them, have you seen this error code before? Maybe if they've seen it before, they can assist you. But what your coworker is not going to do is you pulling in your coworker and asking them, let's deploy this task that is assigned to me 100%. They would not accept that. So basically, for the assignments that you guys will be doing after you've completed the project, it's supposed to mimic what your day-to-day would be like as a cloud engineer. So I want you to take it serious in terms of when you are completing the assignments, think of it as if you are working and take it like that. So once you have completed this project, there'll be an assignment for it. to find the assignment, if you come to our Slack channel in the AWS DevOps channel, there is a canvas here. If you select this canvas, you will see all the important links for our class. If you scroll down here, you'll see all the assignments so far. So we have assignment 1, 2, 3, 4. The assignment 1 corresponds with, there is a project in this getting started here. In this course, there is a small EC2 project at the end of this course. That project, once you complete that project is corresponding to assignment 1 in our Slack channel. Then assignment 2 is hosting an HTML website. Maybe what I'll do is I will update the name of this assignment so that they correspond with the name of the course in your membership account. So that way you can match them, if that helps. So assignment 2 in the Slack channel corresponds with this project, which is to deploy a static website on AWS. So let's take one project as an example. You have finished this deploy a static website on AWS. Then the next thing you need to do is complete the assignment for it to test your knowledge. So what you do is come in this channel, find assignment 2. The link to download all the assets for the project is here. Click it and download it. Once you download it, start working on your assignment. There is a Word document in there that has all the instructions of what you need to do. Another thing we are doing to track the progress we are making is at work, when you have a project to complete, to organize how that project is done, right? What we do is we use Jira, and some other companies may use other tools, but Jira is the most popular one. And what Jira does is it just allows you guys to split all the things you have to do to complete the project. In a task, you list them as a task and you add those tasks on the Jira board, and those tasks get assigned to the engineers so the engineers can start working on it. So to mimic what the day-to-day would be like, that is why we also have a Jira board. So the Jira board at work, you'll be responsible for creating your ticket for whatever is assigned to you, and you'll be responsible for updating your ticket and understanding how to move your ticket from to do to in progress and in review. So that is exactly what we are doing here, where when you start working on your assignments, the first thing you have to do is come to the Jira board and create a ticket for that assignment on Jira. To create a ticket for your assignment, all you have to do is click create here. Once you click create, it will show you the project. The project we are in is the AWS DevOps project, and this is fine. And you are trying to create a story, that is fine. Then under summary here, you enter the name of the assignment. What I've asked that you guys name your summary is your name, the assignment you are working on. So let's say it's assignment 2, and you can put the name of the assignment here. Under description here, I still need to clean this because someone edited something in it, and by default it's putting this in there. That shouldn't be in there. So under description, add a brief description of what you are trying to complete. But this part of your ticket at work, they take it very serious, because if you are writing a ticket that someone else may possibly work on, you need to be as detailed and as specific about what you want that ticket to accomplish when the person is working on it. So everything you are doing is supposed to mimic what your day-to-day will be like as a cloud or DevOps engineer. So in the description, you have to be as specific as the goals you are trying to accomplish by working on this project. So that's what you have to pretend you are doing. But for your assignment, you can put a description of your project, but I'm saying if you want to take it a step further and pretend as if you are writing a ticket at work, you have to be as detailed as what you want the ticket to accomplish. So that's what this does. And if you want to see an example, you can use ChatGPT of show me an example of what a Jira ticket looks like. And ChatGPT does a good job at writing it. So you'll see an example. And that is the description. You enter a description here. Then assigning is if there is someone on your team that you want to assign the ticket to, you will click this drop down and you'll see all the members of your team and you assign the ticket to them. But since we are using the same Jira board, this is not applicable to our project. But at work, understand that this assigning is assigning it to someone on your team. And if you want to assign it to yourself, you just click this assign to me. Then all these labels, if you guys have label in your Jira, you'll see all that stuff. But for our class, it's not applicable. Story point is also another way they measure how long it should take whoever is working on that ticket to complete. So here you can enter a story point at work, but for our project, this does not matter. But I just still want to point it out. The most important thing when you are creating the ticket to complete our project is your name, assignment, and description of the project here and here. Then under sprint, click this drop down and you will see the sprint we are in. This part is very important, so don't forget this part. Click this drop down and you'll see the sprint we are currently in. Select that sprint. You should get this and that is fine. Then once you do that, you can just scroll down and click create your ticket. The reason why selecting the sprint here is important is because when you select the sprint, after you click create, it is going to put your ticket on the Jira board that you are seeing behind this page. So this AWS DevOps Sprint 9. It is going to put your ticket in the to-do column here, and you can drag it into in progress when you start working on it. But let me create this ticket. So I'm going to create this ticket. I'm going to click create, and there you go. You can see the ticket showed up here. And let's create another ticket. And this time I'm going to enter my summary test, and I'm going to scroll down. And this time under sprint, I'm not going to select any sprint. I'm just going to leave it like this and click create. When you create a ticket and you forget to select the sprint, you can see here that the ticket did not show up on our sprint board. That is the issue some of you are having when you create your ticket and you can't find it on the sprint board, is because when you were creating the ticket, you forgot to select the sprint. So always remember 3 things you have to enter when you are creating your ticket is your summary, a description of the task you will accomplish, and select your sprint. And that will put it on the board. But in case you create your ticket and you forgot to select your sprint, that is fine. If you don't see it on the Jira board, it will show up in the backlog. So backlog are just tickets that we've created that we need to work on in the future. So that is what they use backlog for. So in the backlog, if I scroll down here, you can see the ticket I created is here. So what you are seeing up here, you can see this is the Sprint 9 board. And if you scroll down here, this is the backlog board. And all these tickets you are seeing in the backlog, these are tickets that people have created and they forgot to select the sprint. So that's why all these are showing up here. What you will do is once you come to the backlog, you'll see your ticket. All you have to do is drag it, click and hold it. All I'm doing is I clicked it and hold it, right? And I'll just drag it to the sprint and I'll drop it there. It will ask you this question, click confirm, and your ticket will now show up here. So if I go to the Jira board again, if I go to the sprint board, you can see the test ticket is now here. So this is how you create your ticket on the Jira board. And to get the link to sign into Jira for our project in the Slack channel, once you get access to Slack, in the DevOps channel, click the canvas here. Once you are in the canvas, you'll see the important link. The Jira information is here. So you have the username and password to sign it. So that will give you access to Jira and you can start creating your ticket. Another thing we are doing to track our work is we also have an Excel sheet that allows you to track all the projects you've been working on. So here we have assignment 1, 2, 3. So when you start working on an assignment, you can mark it as in progress. Once you complete it, mark it as completed. Then as you go through all your projects, you just do the same thing. This is not as important, but it's just a way to track your work to make sure that you are completing the assignment in the order you are supposed to complete it. The reason why I created this Excel is to hold you accountable for following the projects from assignment 1 to 2 to 3, as opposed to jumping on assignment 5 and starting there. Because I noticed sometimes people may want to jump to a specific assignment and work there because they are rushing to try to get the knowledge. So this is just to hold you accountable and make sure that you are following everything in the order you are supposed to follow it. You probably won't have access to this Excel sheet. So once you try to access it, there will be an option there that you can request access. So just click that option and I would give you access. Then you can add your name here and you can start just tracking your work here. So that is it for how to get started with the projects, the assignments, and how to access the Jira board. Does anyone have any question? Okay, cool. The demo I'll show you ties into what I just discussed. So last week, I promised you guys that I was going to show you how to organize your projects in your GitHub repository. So it does ties into this. So let's say now you are working on the assignment. What I want you guys to do is as you complete each assignment, I want you to organize everything you did in that assignment in a GitHub repository. The reason why you should do that is it is important to do that so that way all your projects are organized and you don't have to do everything at once at the end of your project. So as you are working on your projects, you complete the first assignment, it's better to organize everything you did in that project in your GitHub repository. I haven't tested this idea, but an idea I have on how to organize your projects in your GitHub repository is for every project, we have a reference architecture, right? And in your reference architecture, we have all the things we did in it. For example, in this reference architecture, we are creating a VPC with public and private subnets. We are using NAT Gateway, Web Server, Application Load Balancer, Route 53, and GitHub. So the first thing you need to do is I've created a Word document here that shows you the idea that I have for this project. So just a second. Okay. So let's start with the first project in your account. Let's say you have completed this deploy a static website and you want to organize this project in your GitHub repository. The name of this project is deploy a static website. If you prefer to name it a different name that you think makes sense, you can name it that. So what I did is I copied this name and that is what I put here. So I called this host a static website on AWS. Then the next thing I did is what services did I use to complete this project? To get the service, all you have to do is look at the reference architecture. So here we are using a VPC. That is why in my notes, I've added VPC with public and private subnets in 2 different availability zones. In this project, we also use Internet Gateway, and there are some other resources that are missing here that I should probably add. One that I can think of is security groups. So here I can add security, right? So I'm just adding something there for security group, but you can be more detailed for the security group. So basically the idea here is for every resource you use to complete the project, list those resources under the title here and be specific about what you use those resources to accomplish in that project. This is also good to help you understand the reference architecture. So when you are looking at the reference architecture, you are able to understand what each of the resources in your reference architecture is doing as it pertains to your project. So that is why I've listed this here. So you go through your reference architecture and you will list all the resources you use to complete the project and what each resource is doing. Then at the end here, I just type a brief example for you guys of what you can type in ChatGPT. So here I type a description here of, I recently finished a DevOps project where I hosted a static HTML website on AWS utilizing the resources listed below. So you can have this here. I've uploaded the reference diagram and the script I used to deploy the web app on an EC2 instance to a GitHub repository for the project. Please use this information to create a README file for the project. Copy all this and paste it in ChatGPT. This is an idea I have on how you can use ChatGPT to create a README file for the project, because ChatGPT can do a much better job than I can do, right? Even when you post this in ChatGPT, whatever it gives you, you can always edit it until you get your README file to exactly what you want it to do. So this is the idea. But before I paste it in ChatGPT, what you are going to do is go into your GitHub account and you are going to create a repository for the project you are working on. So let's say we are working on this project, deploy a static website on AWS. In my GitHub repository, I'm going to paste it here, right? And for the description, I also have under the project, you can also see a description here. And just copy this part, deploy a static website on AWS using the management console. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it here under the description. Then you can choose to make your repository public or private. If your repository is public, that means that when you add it on your resume, someone will be able to see it. Since this is a repository showcasing your projects, you must leave it public for other people to access it. Then here, we'll click add a README file and we are going to click create repository. So once you create the repository, the next thing we are going to do is add the reference architecture for this project in the repository. So here you see add file, click on it and you'll see this drop down, click upload files. Then if you click in here, you can browse to the location of the file on your computer. The reference architecture for my project is this HTML file. So I'm going to click on it and click open. You can see the HTML file here. Scroll down and click commit. I've uploaded the reference architecture for the project into the repository. It is this HTML file. If you select it, I believe here, it should show us the path to the file, which this is the path to the file, right? I like that GitHub has put this icon here. If you click this icon to copy it, it will copy the full path for you. But understand that once you upload it, the path to the file is here. And to get the path to the file, you have to click on the file and go in there. So to go back to my repository for that project, I'm going to click the name of the repository here. Then the next thing you are going to do is, if you have any scripts that you use to complete that project, you can also upload the scripts into your GitHub repository. So here, I'm going to click add file and I'm going to click upload file and I'll click choose file. Then I would browse to the location on my computer where I saved the script, which is here. This is the script. I'm going to click open and the name of the script is here. I'm going to click commit changes and I've uploaded the script into my GitHub repository, and you can also see the script here. Once you have uploaded all the assets you used to complete the project, and this part, I'm talking about the projects we are deploying in the management console, because for that project, we are not writing any Terraform code. So the only thing you will have to present is the reference architecture for that project and possibly the script you use to deploy your application on the EC2 instance or your container. So that is why I've uploaded the script here. Then, if you want to even be more specific, you can copy this script and in the description, you are going to paste in ChatGPT. You can also press enter here and also add a section. This is the and paste your script there, right? Or you can be more specific. So this is the script I use to deploy the web app on an EC2 instance. So you have your script here. So what I'm going to do is copy all this information and paste it in ChatGPT. So once you paste your description in here, you are going to press enter. So here, ChatGPT is creating the README file for you. Okay, so we've created the README file, which is right here. So here, host static web app on AWS, project overview, there, architecture, right there, deployment script here, deployment steps here, which it is very accurate, and repository structure, deployment script and architecture diagram. Additional resource, it is pointing to AWS documentation, GitHub repository where you have the script. So it is saying that if you in the GitHub repository, obviously you have to update this to where your repository is. I can do a better job than this. So you guys always be open to using AI to be efficient at what you are doing. It doesn't make anyone dumb or smart if you choose to use AI or not. But certainly, since AI came out, it's been very helpful in helping me be more productive, especially when I'm working at work. So I use it a lot for my personal project and also the projects I work on at work. So use AI to help you if you are trying to create something. I think AI would do a good job, at least from a starting point. And you can see I didn't just type anything in ChatGPT. I created my document first. Well, which this is the starting point. You create what you want to do. And when you tell it specifically what you are trying to do, it will be able to give you an accurate result. So this is the README file. I'm just going to click here to copy it. Then when I click that, I'm going to come back to my GitHub repository. This is the GitHub repository I just created, and this is the README file for that repository. Once you select that README file, click edit here, and I'm going to remove this and paste what ChatGPT created. You can see when you paste it, it also adds it, because the README file in your repository is a markup language. And when you put this hashtag symbol and this star, it means something. That is how you are able to make them either a title or just a regular word. So that is why when you use ChatGPT also create those things for you. So when you paste it in your README file, they show up exactly how they are supposed to show up. So here, this is what ChatGPT created. So I'm just going to remove, because this part, we don't need that part. Then if we scroll down, we don't need this part too. Then we are going to click, some always in the way. Then I'm going to scroll up here and I'm going to click commit changes. And you can type a message here, or you can just click commit changes. Now you can see in your repository, right? When you click on the repository for that project, there is a professional README file for that project here. You can see the title, project overview, architecture, deployment script, deployment step, repository structure, and AWS resources here. That's really good. So this is what you need to do for each of your projects as you complete them. So at the end, you have an organized professional repository that is showcasing all the projects you have worked on. If someone comes into your repository, like a potential employer, and click on the link and they see a repository that has a structure like this, it makes you look good. The only other thing I want to add to this repository, which I was searching on ChatGPT, is something I haven't done before, but it said that you can add it, and I want to test it. Is it would be nice to also have the image of our reference architecture in this README file. So that way, everything is showing there. It is showing the reference architecture, all these informations. So, and I also have it in my notes here. It said that I need to add this in my README file. So I'm going to copy this. Before I copy that, it's this part to image. I need to change it. So I'm going to go in my repository. This is the image I uploaded into that repository for the reference architecture. Remember, the path to the image, you can copy it here. When you click that, it's going to copy the path. Then here, I'm going to replace this. Let me zoom in case if you guys can see what I'm doing. This part to image, I'm going to replace it with that one. I think this alt text, if you want to type a description for the image, we can type it. But for now, I'm not going to put anything there. So I'm just going to copy this because this is the first time I'm testing it too. So I'm not sure how it is going to. So I'm going to edit this README file again. Up here, I'm going to add the line and press enter twice. And I'll just paste the image there. Let me commit that and see what it looks like. I'm going to click refresh. So this is what it will look like. I'm going to edit it again. I'll just remove just that line and commit. There you go. All right, well, that is what your repository will look like. The reference image, the title of the project. So the title of the project, it is up to you if you want to move it up or down. Then the information. This is a professional way to showcase your project in your GitHub repository. So that is how you organize your project in your repository. This is the static website. Let's do one more for the dynamic one. So for the dynamic one, I'm going to come back to my repository here, my account. I'm going to create a new repository. The name of the project, you can just get it from the title of the course. So deploy a dynamic website on AWS. Copy this and use it as your repository name. Then for the description, always add a description here because, well, it's optional. But because we are going to update it anyway, for the description, you can leave it blank. The repository is public, but what I meant to say is always add a README file. Always check that. So that will create that README file for you, and you can just edit it once you get the information from ChatGPT. So add a README file and click create repository. So we've created the repository here. Then the next thing we are going to do is upload our reference architecture for the project into the repository. So here, we're going to click upload files, then choose browse to the location where you saved it, right? So it's in my downloads. This is the reference file for the project. I'm going to open it here and scroll down and click commit. We have uploaded the image. Is it here? The next thing you are going to do is prepare the Word document for ChatGPT. Here we have the title of the project. I don't know why this is showing 1516. I'm going to just copy this and paste it in like a new Word document. Okay, so the title of the project, the resources you created in that project. I know another thing I need to add here is the security group. So let me copy it from this one. And another thing that I did is, okay, I'll cut this out of here. It's better to put it here. So, well, there's one more thing. Let me, here's how I want it. So here, I'm just going to remove the script for that one. So in our deploy the dynamic app, this is the script we use. I'm going to browse to the location of that script on my computer. My script showing up like this. Oh, it's because I have it as, maybe my computer updated. No, it's a different. So this is the script we use. The only thing when you are uploading your script, right? The only thing is when you are pasting your script in your README file, make sure if you have any credentials in your script to remove it. So here I have my database information in there. For this project, for the sake of time, I'm going to just use the script. But before you upload your script into your README file, make sure that you have removed any secret information that you have in your script. So I'm going to open this in Visual Studio Code because for this project, I have 3 scripts. So the script we use to install our software, the script we use to configure our application on the EC2 instance, and the third script is the script I use to migrate my data. So I'm going to open with Visual Studio Code. So these are the 3 scripts, and you can just start with the first one. It might be a long README file, but I think ChatGPT will do a good job. So here, I'm going to copy the first script in my Word document. I'll paste it here. So here, so this is the beginning of the script. This is the script I used to, I can say these, because I think ChatGPT will be able to tell what script is what. These are the scripts I used to deploy the website on the EC2 instance. Okay, install and configure application. That's the first script. And the second script is we used to install, well, Control A, I'll copy this, and then the Word document. The first script is the one I just copied now. So here, I'm just going to press enter here and paste the first script there. Nah, I don't like how that pasted it. Right click and this one. Okay, so just to show you what I'm doing, I've had all my information that I paste in ChatGPT, right? These are the scripts I use to complete the project. The first script, we install the softwares on the EC2 instance. That ends there. And in the second script, which I'll just move this down, well, I have to install this. The second script, we configured our website on the EC2 instance. And in the third script, I'm going to press enter here and copy my third script. So basically, whatever script you use to complete the project, that is what you paste in there. I'm just giving ChatGPT as much information as I can. So here, I'm going to paste that script. So I've pasted all my script. I'm going to press Control A to select everything in this file and copy it. Then I'm going to go to ChatGPT, start a new, and paste it in there. Press enter. Okay, it is writing it. So majority of this thing, it is writing. So far, I'm just glancing over it. They're accurate, but you would also have to read it. And if there's anything you want to update in it, you can update it. You can say because I gave it a lot of information, and maybe because your README file, this time it chose a different strategy to create the README file, which is still very good, right? If you want to follow kind of what we did in the first README file where there was a section where you have the full script in there, then you saw what the README file looks like. You can copy the example from there and use that same example to have that code section in your README file where you see your script. Maybe we'll do that after this. So this is the README file it created. I will start by using this as the starting point. Then you can always modify it. So I'll copy this README file. I'll copy the information. Once I copy it, come back to your repository and select the README file. Click edit here and paste what ChatGPT wrote for you there. So once you paste it, then we can clean up this part, right? And there's also at the bottom there, we can clean up this part. And I'm going to save it and click commit, right? So we've created the README file. Then the next thing we can do is link the parts to our image here. So I'm going to select the image here, copy the part to the image by clicking this box. Then I'm going to, this is the code you use, is this one. So just paste it there. And I'm going to copy this in my README file. I'm going to edit it and I'll add it up here. Then commit that, click commit. Then once you add it, you have to click refresh here to see it. What happened this time? Maybe I think I know what is going on. So maybe something we need to keep in mind is when we are adding this, sometimes with file names, you can have space in them. You have to either have like a dash. So this is the name of the file. Let me see if I can rename it. So setting, not that one. So I'm in the file. I'm just going to, it's the file. This is the image. I know there should be a setting here to rename it. Let me see. I'm just going to delete it and recreate it. So here on my computer. So something to keep in mind when you are uploading your file, don't have like dash between the name. Here, I'm just going to call it dynamic. Then in my repository, I'm going to upload it again, save it. Then this is it. I'm going to select our PNG, copy the part here, then go to your README file. Let's edit it. And here, we're going to paste it here. Okay, and commit. There you go. So the issue is when you have your file name, make sure you don't have space between them. So we have our reference architecture for the project, the title of the project, and all this information. So you will have to go through the information and make sure they are accurate to your project and edit them as you see fit. The only other thing we can do is, let's say you want to add that code section. So I'm going to go back to my repository here. I always do that. Go back to my repository here. It's this static website repository, the README file. If you edit it, you can see what the deployment scripts section look like. So here they have the deployment scripts. So I'm going to copy it and I'm going to cancel out of here. Then go back to the other repository. In my README file, I'm going to edit it. Oh, it does have the deployment scripts there. It just didn't put anything in it because obviously I gave it way too much script to put it. But this section, you would have to do it yourself. So since I copied out that one, I'm going to paste it here. Right. There's an enter there. And going to remove this because it's multiple scripts. Below are the bash scripts used to deploy the web app on an EC2 instance. So there is like bash thing. You have to look at the way it is. First of all, I'm going to delete this part. Well, remember that that is just our script. So I'm going to delete this part. Since I have 3 scripts, right, I'm going to put 3 of those there. Then I'm going to copy my scripts. So this is the first one, right? You notice in our script, it started with this bin bash. So I have too much information here because this is the note I wrote, but really when you paste your script, just start at the bin bash, copy this, and I'm going to, in that first box, paste it there. Then in the second one, I'm going to copy the second script, which is this one, paste it there. So even in this one, the bin bash is just if we want to use it as an EC2 user data, but we can even remove the bin bash and just have the script, just the commands. Then there's the third one here, this dash thing. So I'm going to copy the third script and I'm going to paste it here. So those are the scripts. I will commit it, click commit changes, going to click refresh. So in your repository for the project, yes, you have access to the recording. I usually send it out. Once I'm going to edit it, then I'll send it out. And I'll also show you the link where you can find all the past recordings. So here, if you scroll down, you have everything. Now in your deployment script, you have all the scripts there. So you have script 1, script 2, and script 3. If you even want to do it for each of these scripts, right, you can put what it is doing. Like, so for here, right, let's try this. So for this deployment script here, you can edit the README file again. So where we have this below are the scripts. So we already have a title deployment script. So what I'll do is for each of those scripts, the first one is this, and the title of that script is install software necessary for application to run. You can find a better title. So copy that and replace this. Then copy this. Well, you don't have to copy. That is it for the first script. So for the second script here, I'm just trying to follow the pattern. So there I have it and there's a space there. So here you can press enter and copy the title of your second script. Install. I have to install and configure application, copy, paste it here just to be consistent because here I have a space, there I have a space. And for the last one, I don't have anything for that. So migrate data, the last one, I'm just going to, so I'm going to commit that, save, refresh. So I have my reference architecture, title, deployment script. You have the first one. So here you can add as much detail as you want. You can say run this script first, then run this next script, run this script, and that script. So this is pretty much how you can upload your project into your GitHub repository. I haven't done this. This is the first time I'm organizing my script into the repository like this. So I think it's much better to have it like this. Does anyone have any question?
Yes, sir. This is Ronnie.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, this is Ronnie. I'm listening. Please, sir, can you help us animate those architecture with the flow of the flow inside the architecture, please?
Okay.
I saw it in one of your video, the lighted lines moving. I want to know how to do it. Thank you.
That one, I've been seeing a lot of those animated reference architecture on LinkedIn lately. I'm not sure. I don't know because I haven't done a research on it. So I'm not sure if there is a tool now that is available to animate it or if those people are having other people do it for them. So when I did mine, there wasn't, you can't do that in draw.io. So I gave it to someone that knows how to edit videos, and that person did that for me. So for the new reference architecture that I am creating.
Yeah, I know that I did some research. I know with PowerPoint and Canvas too. With PowerPoint we can do it. With Canvas we can do it. But the problem with me is that I can do the type that one of our classmates did for his project. I can do the same, but the other one that we have the light, all the light moving on the lane, the lane that we draw moving, the discontinued line moving. It is the I don't know how to choose the shape to do it, because when we go on YouTube, we have some. It is rare, but we have some videos, movies where people show a little bit how to do. But I thought maybe with the light one, it would be easy for us.
I don't know if there's a particular tool they are using, but on the new reference architecture I'm creating, because I just updated all the reference architecture for all the projects this week. And it's almost like you read my mind. And for this reference architecture, I'm going to animate all the network portions of it, so you guys will understand what it is doing. And also, I have an idea too that on how I'm going to animate it, which will make everything clear. So yes, I am going to do it. This should probably be out. I should be done with this probably next week. So this is the reference architecture that I created, but I'll send this to my video guy and he's going to add that animated thing that you are mentioning on it, because I can't do it myself. So
interesting.
So the ones you've seen in my past video, it was my video guy that did it. It wasn't me. Okay. That's pretty much it for today's demo on how you can organize your project. So please, as you complete each project, make sure you organize it as you go. Don't wait till the end and try to do all of it at once, because I feel like at that point you will just rush it. So it is better to add organizing your project into your GitHub repository as part of your task for the assignment. So as you are working on the assignment and you complete it, also add uploading that assignment into your GitHub repository as part of the things you did to complete that project. And if you do it like this, at the end, you have a repository that has a bunch of projects in it. I think if an employer comes into your repository and see this will look much better than just having an empty repository with script in it. So that is it for today's demo. I'll take anyone's question if you guys have questions.
Hello, Aziz.
Hello, sir.
Thank you so much for responding to my friend's subscription and
yes,
my
sir.
subscription too. I really appreciate it. But he hasn't been able to access Slack channel. And so I have to ask him to come to my place so that he can attend this session and then make his views known. He said that he has sent an email to your email.
Yeah, I think I saw a preview of his email yesterday, but I haven't read it. So I've sent him the invite to Slack. There's nothing I can do on my end, and I'll see if I can, because I can show you here. So if I come in here, what is his email again?
WALEZO. Yeah.
Okay, so this is you.
Yeah.
It is showing that, let me see, what was that telling me? So you say it is showing that you are already in the channel. You already accepted the invite. So you have to log into your Slack that you used to accept the invite, then you should be able to see my channel.
But I didn't see the invitation at all.
Okay, let me try sending you a message. So this is you. I'll try sending you a message. See if you receive it. Because it is showing that you are already in my Slack channel. Because if you haven't accepted, I won't see you here. So maybe I don't know, you have to log into whatever account this Slack is.
I'm right on the Slack channel right now. So
did you get my message?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, it can probably be something I can help you troubleshoot maybe after our Zoom call, but it is showing that you already accepted it. Do you have multiple Slack accounts?
No, unless I don't know if my son probably have another Slack on my laptop.
Okay. Because I can show you guys in Slack, you can have multiple accounts, right? So this is my workspace here, right? let's say you are part of a different program that also use Slack, you can add their own workspace. Like I'm part of the AWS community builder, and you can see I've added their workspace here. If I select it, then this time I will be in their workspace. I wouldn't see any message from AOS Note. So you can have multiple workspace in your Slack. So also be aware of that. Sir?
You said you cannot?
You can. Yes. So you can add, you can have, I think it's up to 5, but I'm not sure. But you can have as many workspace in here. And whatever workspace you are in, that's what you will see the message. So if I want to see the AOS Note, I have to go to the AOS Note channel. So basically on your Slack, you need to, what you want to look for is make sure you have the AOS Note workspace. So on the left-hand corner here, you'll see that icon where you can add a workspace. But the only way to add my workspace is I send you the invite, but it is showing that you are already in my Slack channel. So there's nothing you can see here. If I go here and I type your name here, the only thing I can do is remove you.
Hold on, don't do that.
It's saying you're already in it. So yeah, so you have to just figure out what account you use to accept it, and you should be able to see my channel. But if you don't see it, let me know. I will help you troubleshoot. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any questions?
Hey, Aziz, one other question, please.
Yes, sir.
There was an issue that I had in some of the practicing I was doing, and I sent you an email as well. So you haven't get back with me. And,
okay.
This one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. So you sent it to my
email?
Yeah,
you asked me to screenshot it, and I did. So.
Okay. I'll respond to you.
Yeah. And this one that you just did right now, in fact, I'm very, very impressive about it. One other thing that I want to ask a question about, when you upload this thing to your GitHub repository, normally they will have the date of the date you uploaded it. Is there any way we can change the date or remove the date?
No, you can't, because that is GitHub report. That's part of what GitHub is supposed to track what you are doing in the repository. So those are just automatic timestamps that are placed on things you've placed in there. So there's no way you can change it. So you can see here, it says I upload this 11 minutes ago. If I refresh, as the time change, it is going to change. So these type of things, timestamp, we don't have control over those. And it makes sense that way, to be that way. You don't have to worry about the timestamp. It doesn't matter how long you've had the project in there. So don't worry about that. And think about it for security purpose. If people are able to change this, then it just jeopardizes the integrity of the data you are putting in it. So it's better that people don't have access to update these things.
So, but if you are putting it on your resume, like you have probably 2-3 years experience, and they go into your GitHub repository and see that you just did some of these projects, do you think is right?
I think you should just market your resume that you have these skill sets to deploy this application in AWS. And if you are able to showcase that, you'll get an opportunity, you'll get a job. The amount of years you have is not really relevant, because someone can say they have 10 years of experience, but they don't really have experience. What I care about is that you know how to deploy the application. If you know how to deploy the application, you know how to deploy it. Okay. That is it. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think that's how you should market it on your resume. Yeah. No problem.
Thanks.
No problem. Does anyone else have a question? Hello.
Can I speak to you privately after this meeting?
Who am I speaking to? Sorry, I don't have my participant.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who's okay. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
Aziz, sorry, I would also like to speak with you privately as soon as it's done, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any question? Mr. Ronnie, you have your hand raised. I don't know if it was from earlier or if you have a question.
Oh,
okay.
I'd like to stay over as well.
Okay. All right. If anyone else don't have a question, so that will pretty much be it for today's class. So yes, I'll just end the call. Have a good week, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Thanks.